Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday 117. Fear means you feel small. Love means you feel inclusion. Question. With Trudeau invoking the Emergencies Act, there is a new kind of fear circulating by design. How can we manage our energies in these turbulent times? And what does it mean spiritually, energetically, in a bigger picture context for what's happening in the world and Canada? Okay, well, I'm not a politician and I'm not too much up on everything. But one thing that I'll say is that you mentioned fear. And any tactic that creates fear is obviously the opposite of love. And when a person is coming from the place of love, there would be no need to set up an Emergencies Act. Because in the state of love, you're open, you're receptive, you don't feel small. When actually you feel so big and so included, and you feel like you got the back of the divine, that whatever appears to be threatening to the body or to our people or something, you don't feel that fear because you're tapped into something larger that is controlling everything, which is the divine. So when you lose that connection, that's fear. And fear is imaginary. Fear is just what the mind comes up with. So like your five senses will pick up some facts, situations, and half the time it's not even facts. Like your eyes see things, but how do you know you really see it? And your ears hear things. How do you know you really hear the real thing? So even that needs to be questioned. But let's say they're facts. But you have to remember that the mind has this other aspect to it. It's called imagination. And the imagination construes the facts. And the ego gets involved. And the ego claims that this is all about me and I'm threatened. So the mind and the ego together makes this grand conclusion that they're out to get me. They're more powerful than me and they can hurt me. So I better take an action. So this is the mind, the intellect. Something is saying, I better take action so that they won't hurt me in the future. This is all ego and fear. Fear is running the show here. If you're in the state of love, why would you need to call an act as if like those guys are bad and they're going to hurt me? That's not true. What's true is that when you're in the state of love, say, okay, here's a being who has something to say, and let me hear them out. And I will hold space for them and let them say everything. And I will still love them for everything they have to say. And once they say it all, they're going to feel like they're received and they won't feel so small anymore because fear comes from a place of smallness. So it's when you're connected to the divine that you are free of fear. And there's nothing that we can really do in the physical world out there that can make us get rid of that fear. Because it's made up. It's in the head. There's no real thing out there. And, you know, if you see that something's actually hitting your body or something, then you can reconsider it, but it doesn't have to come from that place of fear. Fear actually is the prerequisite for destruction. You need to have fear before things get destroyed. But if you have love running you in your heart, you can watch all this stuff go on. You know it's just a drama. You know it's the ego and the mind and fear acting itself out, not feeling connected to the truth. Okay, so now we got some clarity. So like those of us who are in that state of fear, We have to connect with love. That's where we have to go. And how do you do that? You meditate. You feel that warm, fuzzy feeling when you meditate and you connect with yourself. When you love yourself, you can love everybody. And you can also just see what's going on out there and not take a side. There's no side. It's just like, oh, okay, just wisdom. Now, I will say that there's another side to this whole thing. Like, why are all these things pushing our buttons? And why is it getting stronger and more forceful out there? And why is there's a group of people playing a role of being forceful and the others are feeling like, they're being forced upon? And vice versa. Like, we might, if you're on one side, you're thinking that those people who are not following the rules are the bad people. And so it's a side. You're playing a side. Can you not play a side? Like, can we just watch and not make any great assumptions about anything? Not criticize and judge? But here, I have this other thing I want to say. I think it's all good. From the big perspective, like, if you're walking around with this state of fear, saying, they are bigger than me and they're going to hurt me, then we need, or you need, those people who think like that, need to have something really real that seems extremely threatening, and to push ourselves to check our reality. So go ahead. Like I'm saying, like, okay, well, let that threat be there. But now you're going to be shaking in your boots. That energy that shakes you is now waking up that tummus in your body, having your preferences met. Like, it's shaking up your preferences, it's shaking up it's making you uncomfortable. But that's a good thing. We need the energy. We need energy to transform from fear to love. So that's why these things are happening out there. If you're not fully awakened, then these things are going to trigger you. And we need them to trigger us. Like, your soul wants to be triggered and awakened. And this is an opportunity for it to happen. So the way I would look at it is that whenever when there's an apparent threat, we shake. We should take the energy that comes from the fear and transform it and do some serious investigating and say, okay, well, what's really going on? Why am I fearful? What's true about this situation? What's not true about? So develop the discernment. This is true, this is not true. And every time you go deeper, you may or may not agree with anybody else, but it doesn't matter. What matters is it's you. Are you in your truth, or are you sitting in the fear and letting the fear wrap you up and drown you? No, you take the opportunity and discern. Okay, what's triggering my fear? Is this real? Is my mind making up something? Am I adding more stuff here? Let me see what I can get rid of. How can I clear this so that I can stay in contact with my truth? You know when you're in your truth, when you're not shaking in fear. When you feel confident, when you feel expanded, when you feel that you're supported and that you feel loved. And you feel love from your heart, so much so that you can spread that love. And that's what the world needs. The world needs love, not this fear stuff. Like, where's that going to take us? Okay, that's it for today's Wisdom Wednesday. I hope I answered your question. Bye for now.